Directory websites can be a brilliant way of earning some passive income by creating a website that people can list their businesses or services on for a specific area. They can rank well, even after all these Google updates. I've got a little bit of experience in this. A few years ago, I actually built a directory website for a client using something called Listing Pro. It was a full theme, and I have to say, I didn't have the greatest experience with it. It kind of did the job, but it was quite buggy. And so when I was approached and asked to try out aDirectory, my interest was piqued. Just how quickly could I get a directory website up and running on WordPress? So here we have a brand new, fresh WordPress website to try this out on. It's still got the Hello World blog post, so let's just trash that. You always get rid of that one. And let's just quickly go down to settings, permalinks, and sort that one out as well, just to make sure that's correct. Okay, great. Now, the nice thing about this particular plugin is you don't have to install the plugin and then install things. You can just upload one of its themes. They have quite a few different themes. I'm going to try out this Biz Pro theme. And once we've installed that, we'll be able to install the plugins from the theme. There we go. So that's done very quickly. Now you'll see at the top here, we've got to install all of these. So let's begin installing plugins. If you already have a website, you can install these plugins separately. But the way I'm doing it, because it's a fresh website, is a little bit easier because essentially there's nothing on there at all. And this is going to install the elements it needs. And you can see we've got Contact Form 7, Elementor. These aren't from this dev. The elements from the dev are aDirectory, badges, business hour, compare listings, and pricing packages. So some notifications, I'm going to say no to sharing this data. For getting rid of those, we're left with import demo listings. If you don't have any data at all, I would suggest doing this just so you can create the site and know what it looks like when there are listings. If you do have data, this is where you can download the sample CSV, put your data into it, and then re-upload it. So the importer has column mapping. So it's mapping title to listing title, description to listing content, categories to listing categories. So if your columns aren't quite named the same as in the sample sheet, you can come in here and select the right mapping as to where you want the information to go. Got 30 records to import. This is just demo data, which later on you would clear out or replace with your own data. So the imported demo data is around real estate listings. And you can see we've got the name, we've got a preview image, we've got categories, we've got locations, there's no tags, we've got the author, expires on, and created date. So it is November 17th when I'm recording this, so it's set these to a year in advance. Now, although this is real estate listings, it doesn't have to be real estate. If you imagine this could be the name of a business and it could be their logo, then you'd have different categories and different locations. So if you take a look at the site, it's currently set to the last blog post. So let's just customize this to one of the listing pages. So we want to go homepage settings, a static page, homepage, let's say all listings. In less than 5 minutes, I've created a directory and we've got some listings on, and don't they look good? I mean, they look good because they've got good images with them. So in my experience, a lot of people don't bother uploading images, or when the images they do upload, they don't always look great. But if you do get some good images, or you were doing real estate, you can see how good this looks. And if we just click in, we've got a nice image at the top. We've got the pricing information. We've got where it is. We've got the website. So just heading back to the WordPress dashboard, this is the aDirectory dashboard that gives you an overview of the listings. And this is also where you can check out all the settings. So you've got default expiry of 365 days. That gives it a year. You've got expiry notifications. If we go down quickly, we've got display settings. Here's the default preview image. So if someone doesn't upload their own photo, that's what would show instead. So you can adjust that and maybe put, register to upload a photo or whatever it is you want to put. We've got user permissions. And I will say this directory is responding very quickly. Previous ones I've used have been a little sluggish, even in the back menu. So you've got different currencies. So I'll just leave that on dollars for now. We can regenerate the pages if there's an issue. We can take a look at advanced search filters. We've got excluding search filters. There's loads of options here. Emails. Now this is a good one. Email from, this is just the name of the site, so you would need to add in your own information here. You've got the different email types and email templates. This is important because it's very likely you'll want to put something in email templates. For example, in the email body of the new user welcome email, you may try and upsell some of your products or services. You can edit all of these and you can see they've got available placeholders down the bottom. You just drop those in and it'll merge those in. You've got the option to enable SEO schema. You've got the option to enable reCAPTCHA, which I would definitely advise. I've had sites without reCAPTCHA where I forgot to put it on and you just get loads of random nonsense get submitted. You can import listings and you can export listings as well. You've also got a list of shortcodes. I can see that being very handy where you have an existing website that you want to add directory features to. You drop these shortcodes in where you're not replacing your existing theme. You could drop these in and have the different listings dotted around the site or a dedicated area. To accept payments, you can do so via bank transfer or PayPal. If we take a quick look at the extensions, if you get the lifetime deal for the Pro, you'll get absolutely everything. And you can see some of the add-ons here. We've got compare listings, badge add-ons, Stripe payment gateway, very handy if you don't want to use PayPal or bank transfer. Pricing packages, business hours, verification badges, WooCommerce pricing, aDirectory coupons, social logins, claim listing, Divi Builder if you're using Divi, currency switcher add-on. So there's a lot there. And down this side here, we've got the different themes. So I'm using this Biz list, but you can see there's a number of themes available. Under Directory Builder, you can create a new directory. So let's say plumbers. And we can choose an icon or an image. On the next part, we need to build what the listing looks like. So this allows you to customize that listing. So I don't want view count because I always think that that's a bit naff if they've only got one or two views. Maybe they've got a tagline, website, the phone number. Now for each of these, we can then set if it's required or not. So I think at the very least we'd want a phone number, business hours, and yeah, let's leave it at that for now. So we've now got two different directories on this website. We've got one it's listed as all listings, and we've got one that's listed as all plumbers. Now all listings actually isn't all listings because I've added just a test plumber listing. And so that's one in there. And so if this really was all listings, it would be 31 because we imported 30. So don't let that confuse you. All listings is actually just its own directory. And maybe what you do is have, instead of plumbers and electricians, you would have all listings, and instead of splitting them out into different directories, you could have different categories. The reason you would want to have separate directories, I think, is if you want to collect different information. So when I was setting up that form, you might want to set up different information to be collected for different service providers. So I did add a quick temporary listing, and you can see I didn't bother with the photo, and that's what it looks like. It shows the temporary card. And so this is much easier than Listing Pro that I've used before. It took me a lot longer to get that set up and running. Now there is still a bit of work to do. I need to edit this sidebar. I need to add a menu. I need to change the logo at the top. But actually, in terms of getting up and running, that's pretty quick. So what do you think? Does this look as good as other directory solutions you've tried? We'd love to get your thoughts and insights on this because it's an area that I'd like to do more in, having only experimented with it a little bit. So if you've got any directory tips, drop them in the comments below.